I win this round of escorting the bathers home.
How does one contender alone make a valid competition?
Offering a compliment or two wouldn't be the end of you, you know.
Haikas.
What is that word? Is that your native tongue?
It means hyena. I'm likening you to a weak hyena. By the way, you emphasize the completely wrong syllable.
Though we've been acquainted for some time, I have rarely heard you talk in the ancient tongue of Kremnos.
It's because I'm not exactly a master at it either. I can listen and read just fine, but when it comes to writing...
You can write?
You speak as if you don't have a brain.
That was in jest. I understand. After all, you spent all your childhood wandering far from home.
Worry about yourself first, deliverer. You also never mention your hometown, apart from when you need to introduce yourself.
Well, it's because there isn't much to say. MYDEI MYDEI is simply a tiny village that disappeared many years ago in the flames of war. The only times I get to see it are in my dreams, and in the trial from the Lance of Fury.
I knew it.
Yes, I saw it all. MYDEI MYDEI ablaze with everyone. My family, friends, and my kin, lying in a sea of flames. A blood-red half-sun hung in the sky, just like on that day. And before my eyes, that murderer killed CYRENE. But I saw its form this time. A black cloak, an eerie mask, and a broken giant sword that carried an ominous aura. I fought it in the trial. But even though I've been fighting, improving, and resolutely getting stronger all this time, I still couldn't defeat it.
You were blinded by hatred, and almost lost yourself in that trial.
That's right. And that's why I am truly thankful to you, Mightymas.
You finally picked up some manners. Better late than never.
Then what about you, MYDEI? What did you see in that trial? What do you fear?
There is no word for fear in the Kremnoan language.
I'm getting the feeling that your language has no words at all.
But to answer your question, I saw Akuma in the trial. As well as... my old comrades. Hephaestion. Perdiccas. Ionius. Ptolemy. And Possesta. Ever since I returned from the Sea of Souls, these five have been by my side. We faced life and death together during our days in exile. Those 10 years were arduous, yet filled with moments worth treasuring. Each night, we would gather by the campfire, savoring honey brews and singing our hearts out. The wind in the wilds of Amphoreus smelled like rust. Hephaestion would always tease me about adding goat milk to the honey brew, claiming I ruined the blood-red color of the drink. He had a scrawny figure, but was a relentless force on the battlefield, dispatching foes without so much as a blink. Perdiccas was an expert in concocting medicines, delving into all those strange folk remedies. Leonius was a swift runner and our most reliable messenger. Ptolemy was a real bookworm, always spouting off in chapters and verses. When we left Kremnos, he made off with a stack of ancient tomes from the Grand Library. Not like it mattered, as my family owns the library. And then there was Possesta. He was the silent type, but a truly masterful musician.
This is the first time I've heard you mention these 5, and their names.
They died on the battlefield before the Kremnoan detachment managed to join Akuma. Perdiccas was the first to go. He was shot in the stomach by a poisonous arrow from the people of Ladon in the 2nd month of cultivation. In the end, his remedies mended all but himself.
Midemos, do not mourn. I have achieved honor by bestowing a noble death upon the enemy.
Leonius died in the 5th winter. Idonia's snowstorm lasted 3 full months. On the night of the fiercest storm, our foes launched their assault.
Idonia. Is that the city Castorus used to live in?
Yes. Those zealots were as fearless as Kremnoans in the face of death, but they lacked respect for honor. They cornered us in a bottomless swamp. Leonius covered for our retreat, and they cut his legs off. He vanished into the mire of a foreign land, his body never to be recovered.
This is perfect. Midemos, I can finally deliver the news of you ascending the throne to the Netherrealm.
20 dusks later, we finally breached the walls of Idonia and entertained the usurper's plea for peace. However, the rebels refused to surrender and set up an ambush within the city. Ptolemy and his cavalry met their end before they could even relish our triumph. Those obelisks that collapsed after being set on fire became their final resting place.
Midemos, please tell my family. It was not cunning schemes that vanquished Ptolemy, but the immense weight of Amphoreus' entire history.
Then, it was Possesta. He lured the enemies into the city of Aenionis with his melodies, buying us invaluable time. Our enemies, consumed by indignation when they discovered the trick, set the entire city and my soldiers on fire. His final words were recorded on a small clay tablet, fractured by the flames.
Midemos, don the crown.
And at last, my most trusted friend, Hephaestion. He was supposed to stand by my side through it all. But a sudden relapse of his illness hit him on the eve of my duel against my father. He hid his condition from me. By the time I returned victorious, he had but a breath left in him.
A Kremnoan dying on a sickbed. I would be a laughingstock to everyone.
Hephaestion, my dear friend, spare your strength. I'll go get a physician.
No need. Even if Perdiccas were here, he couldn't stop destiny from taking me away.
No! None can take you away.
Midemos, our king, do not shed tears for me. It's not befitting of your status. Farewell, my dear friend. You must lead us back home.
What a grave trial indeed. Now I understand why you see immortality as a defect, or even a curse.
My father threw me into the Sea of Souls to break the wheel of karma. But little did he realize it would grant me an immortal body and summon a fated revenge on his head. Following his demise, I considered leading my people back to our homeland. Kremnos had already turned it into a wasteland. Only darkness and insanity thrived there. Against the dissent of many, Kratos included, I made the Kremnoan detachment stay in Akama. But I know that their glory will never be doused out. The instant of strife shall inevitably arrive.
If you take over Nikodor, then you must begin the journey back to your homeland. So, you hesitate because you think leaving your people in the Holy City is a better choice?
I don't know. But I have never been crowned. Those 5 were never endowed with any titles. None is aware of their glory.
Your predicament is truly complicated. I don't know how I can give you any useful advice. Maybe you could seek counsel from more people, such as the Grand Craftsman. Cartonis' people seem to have been through comparable dilemmas. And that teacher of yours, Kratos?
Dee, we've got a big problem! Big problem!
Lady Tribby, what's making you so flustered?